This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to start with this week's assignment, which is the fitted pant flat. So I'm again going to create the same size page that I always do, the print 8.27, and I'm going to label it pant flat. And I'm going to go ahead and create and make sure you're in inches, not in pixels. And I'm going to give it a moment. Okay, so here we go. Now, again, as I always do, I'm going to start with going into view, rulers, show rulers, so I can pull out a guide to put into my center front, which is I'm going to put it at 4. So we're going to be working on the waist. Again, just like we did with the skirt, we're going to do the waist, 1 point at the center front, then the waist, then the hip, then going down for the leg. For this point, we will then go downwards diagonally a little bit to make the leg of the whole the entrance of the foot, and then go up back, and then go and make our inseam, and that is where we will leave it. We will not close it again. Then we will make the waist band, and then the dart. After we're done with that, we're going to add on top of that a button on the waistband, a line, a style line that shows the crotch, and then the flap, the fly flap, zipper fly, with just style lines. And then we're gonna go ahead and but before we do those button and everything, we will do the mirror part and then add on those styles at the end. But till the dart, we will do everything, and then mirror after step 4, and then at step 5 we'll add all of those. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm gonna, again, as I always do, I'm gonna start with the pen tool, and we are going to start at the waist to make the waist of our pant. I'm gonna go horizontally outwards, and then I'm going to make the hip, because that point is where we will be curving it. So I have to make it an anchor point at that part. And then I'm going to go down for the leg. I'm going to be a little inwards from the hip. The hip is right here. I'm going to be a little inwards, not too much, because I still need to make sure that I can see both of them. And then I'm going to go diagonally downwards a little. And then back up. And then I'm going to go where I think my part should start. And right there. And this is where I'm going to stop. I don't want to close it right now, because then I won't be able to work with it properly. So I'm going to go click the selection tool to stop this. Again, the fill and stroke are off, so go ahead and turn on stroke, not the fill, because we want to keep the fill off. I just want the outline. I don't want the stroke, the fill to be on. So we're done with this part. I'm going to go right click onto the pen tool and click the anchor tool, and I'm going to just this one part, the hip on our pant is the one I'm going to pull down on and curve it slightly, and selection tool and select. So now that's a bit curved. I don't want to curve it too much. Now I'm going to go back into the pen tool, and I'm going to make first the waistband, and then the dart, or first you can do the dart and then the waistband. I'm going to start with the waistband. And then I'm not going to close it again like I did before. And then selection tool, deselect, and then next I'm going to go ahead and do the dot. That's our pen dart, and then I'm going to selection tool, deselect that. So to mirror it, we always group our piece of line strokes or together to be able to mirror the piece. So in the selection tool, I'm going to go ahead and select the pant. The waist, since I made it on top of the waistband, since I made it on top of the waist, is now connected to it, so I don't have to select it separately. Still have to select the dart. And so I've got that clicked. Now I'm going to go Object, Group. Now they're one piece. Now when I click on it and select it, everything is selected. Now I'm going to go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in front. Then I'm going to go ahead and go into the Rotate tool, right click and click Reflect. This small circular thing needs to go onto our center front, as always, directly on the center front to make sure we're not rotating it wrong. Then you hold down Shift, click inside your piece and rotate. And there you go. Select tool, deselect. So almost all of our pen is done. So next step is going to be, I'm going to start adding these style lines that are on it. So this is going to be the seam, the crotch seam, and there's a button on the waistband, and then there's a zipper fly front right here. And it's shown by the stitch line right here. So that's what I'm going to add next. So go back into the pen tool. From the top, click on the center front, go down to where that joins to this one, click and select tool, deselect that. Now you have that part. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to create the stitch line, and then that's going to be our dashed part, and that's going to be above point 2. Don't join it to that part. On the style line, I'm going to go click a little diagonally upwards onto the left side of your pants, and then go up to the waistband. Then click and deselect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into stroke, and I'm going to click on the dashed line, and on that I'm going to put in 0.75 and enter. And then I'm gonna go selection tool, deselect. So you have these small stitch lines. You can make it bigger to be able to see them better, but that's about where we are. And then I'm gonna go into the anchor tool, and I'm going to curve this a little bit. If I want to, I see that they haven't done that. And maybe I can see why, because it does it too much. So I'm gonna leave that as is. Now I have to just do the button. That's the last step before our zipper, our pens are done. I'm going to go into this rectangle tool, right click and ellipse tool, and then I'm going to make a button right here, not too big, but not too small, right there. Selection tool, deselect, and make sure when you do this one, select it and click on the dashed line so you're not making a broken button. It's like a whole button. And that is the pants flat. It's pretty simple and straightforward. It doesn't require too many steps. Just make sure you do the steps the way they are done, and just have fun making the plants. Take care. Bye.